At 9 p.m., Jake made a firm decision. He climbed the stairs to the bedroom, his thoughts heavy with concern. Inside, he found his vibrant 26-year-old wife, Mia, getting ready for a night out with her friends. Last Friday, she had gone out with the same group, and while Jake hadn't voiced his concerns then, the idea of it becoming a habit unsettled him. Noticing the tension in his expression, Mia sighed and asked, "You're not going to sulk about this again, are you?" Jake's gaze fell on the tiny dress laid out on the bed and the daring red lingerie Mia was wearing. "I don't think I've seen these before," he remarked evenly. Looking slightly flustered, Mia admitted, "Well, yes. I got them earlier this week." Jake paused, his mind racing, then stepped into the adjoining bathroom. He returned with a pair of plain cotton lingerie from the laundry basket. Holding them up, he asked, "So, is this what's considered normal for a husband? Something simple like this? Yet, you're perfectly fine wearing this." He gestured to the red lace ensemble. "For a room full of strangers?" Mia frowned. "Jake, stop. It's just a night out with friends, nothing more. Why are you making such a big deal out of this?" Jake's expression hardened. "Unless," he said quietly, "this isn't just a regular night out. Maybe you've arranged to meet someone there. Someone special, like a date." Mia's eyes widened in disbelief. "What? No. How could you even think that?" Jake didn't answer immediately. Instead, he chose his words with care. "So, when you're out with them, you're telling me you never dance with other men? Never let them get too close? Never do anything that could be seen as crossing a line?" "That's ridiculous," Mia snapped, her frustration bubbling over. "How dare you even suggest that?" Jake stayed calm. "I suggest it because I've paid attention. Your friends, one is single, two are divorced, and then there's you. Do you honestly believe they'd spend the entire night without pulling you into their plans? Plans that might not exactly be innocent." Mia glared at him. "How dare you judge my friends like that?" "I'm not judging them," Jake said firmly. "They're free to make their own choices, as are you. But the situations they put you in, are they really the kind of places a married woman belongs?" Mia folded her arms and narrowed her eyes. "You're basically telling me not to go. How is that a choice?" Jake shook his head. "I'm not forbidding you from going, but I am saying it's inappropriate behavior for a married woman to be in these environments, especially with single or newly divorced women who may have different priorities. They're your friends, but their choices don't align with the commitments we made to each other." "Unbelievable," Mia said, her anger spiking. "You're saying my outings with friends are a threat to our marriage? That's insecurity talking. I always come home to you, don't I?" Jake let out a long sigh. "I'm not worried about you coming home. I'm worried about everything that happens before you do. You're stunning, Mia. You're surrounded by single men, alcohol, loud music. It's a recipe for trouble, even if you don't mean for it to be." He held up a hand to silence her as she opened her mouth to retort. "And when you walk out looking like this," he gestured to her nearly bare figure, "you expect me to be okay with it? Like it's just normal for a husband to sit back and accept it." "It's too late for this conversation," Mia said with finality. Brushing past him as she continued her preparations, Mia glanced at the clock. "I promised to meet them at 10, she said sharply, "and you're trying to make me late." Ethan took a deep breath, making one last attempt. "You also promised to respect your husband. It seems you're comfortable enough ignoring that promise. Or is your friend's approval more important to you than my feelings? What's wrong with you? Don't you trust me?" Mia snapped back. "I want to trust you," Ethan said evenly, "but I'm tired of sitting at home every Friday night wondering if this will be the night you accidentally flirt with someone or cross a line." Mia frowned. "I would never do that," she retorted. Ethan's gaze didn't waver. "Then why did I see Gail's post last week? She bragged about her wild night out, and we both know she's one of your friends. She's single, carefree, and doing whatever she wants. How long do I have to pretend that's not rubbing off on you?" Mia froze, speechless. Ethan continued, his tone now firm and resolute. If you want to go out dancing, invite me along. If you want to be around strangers, drinking and enjoying their attention, just be honest with me and with yourself. We can end this charade right now. You're being ridiculous. Mia lashed out, frustration overtaking her. Ethan didn't flinch. Am I? I'm tired of pretending everything's fine. I've been clear about how I feel, and now you need to decide. Stay here and work on our marriage, or keep living this lifestyle. But understand this. I won't be here when you get back. Mia's face hardened as she accused him of joking, but Ethan stayed calm. I'm not joking, he said firmly. I don't see a future where I sit at home every weekend wondering who you're with and what you're doing. With that, he left the room, leaving her to think. Alone, Mia sat in front of the mirror, her thoughts swirling. She hadn't cheated on Ethan, not physically, but she couldn't deny that she enjoyed the attention she got at the club. The glances, the compliments, the way it made her feel desirable. Ethan's words, though sincere, felt routine, almost obligatory as her husband. The attention from strangers felt fresh and real in comparison. Later that evening, Ethan was at the dining table filling out an online form when Mia came downstairs. She was dressed in high heels and a short, shimmering blue dress. I'm leaving, she announced coldly. We'll talk tomorrow. Ethan didn't look up. He knew it was over. Turning back to his computer, he ignored her departure and began planning his future without her. He finalized his acceptance of a job offer in Singapore, packed his belongings, and sent a message to Mia's family explaining the situation. In his message, he made it clear that he was cutting off contact. Before leaving, Ethan placed a note on their wedding photo above the fireplace. Then he walked out the door, beginning a new chapter of his life. Meanwhile, at the club, Mia's phone rang. It was her sister, Laura. Mia, what's going on? Laura asked, her voice urgent. Ethan just sent a message. He's gone, and he said he's filing for divorce. Stunned, Mia left the club and rushed home, her heart pounding. When she arrived, the house was eerily quiet. Ethan's belongings were gone, his side of the closet empty. She noticed the wedding photo above the fireplace and walked closer, her breath caught in her throat. In the photo, there was an image of her, kissing another man at the club. Ethan had written one word across it in bold, red letters, liar. That moment marked the end of their marriage. Ethan moved to Singapore, embracing a fresh start, leaving Mia behind to face the consequences of her choices, while Lisa faced the consequences of her actions, leading to a future far different from what she had imagined. I found myself reflecting on my own situation as I drove home that evening. As I approached my street, I instinctively slowed down and drove with extra caution. Despite countless complaints, the city council had yet to address the massive, hazardous pothole right in the middle of the road. It was especially dangerous because our street was at the bottom of a steep hill, where cars often barreled down at reckless speeds. I'd long feared an accident was inevitable, but my concerns had fallen on deaf ears. Every time I raised the issue, I received the same canned response. Vague assurances that the problem was being worked on. Their inaction had me seriously considering voting for the opposition in the upcoming elections. As I turned into my driveway, I noticed an unfamiliar car parked there. It was a large SUV, definitely not one belonging to any of Rachel's friends. Rachel and I had been dating for 4 years and living together for the past year. I knew she had been hoping for a marriage proposal soon, and I had been carefully planning the perfect moment to ask her. But instead of the joyful evening I had imagined, I was about to encounter a devastating truth. Parking in the garage, I stepped inside and called out, "Rachel, I'm home." To my surprise, I found her sitting in the living room with a man I didn't recognize. A sense of unease washed over me, but I forced myself to stay calm and give her the benefit of the doubt. "Who's this?" I asked, my voice steady but tense. Rachel stood and gave me an uneasy smile. "Welcome back, Jake. This is Nathan. We need to talk." Her tone, combined with the presence of the stranger, confirmed my worst fears. I clenched my jaw and took a deep breath. "What is there to talk about?" I asked, my voice measured but sharp. "You both know how this looks. I hope I'm wrong, and there's a perfectly good explanation." Rachel hesitated but then straightened, a determined look in her eyes. "Jake," she began, "we've been together a long time, and I really do want to marry you. But before we settle down, I feel like I need to explore other aspects of life. I've been seeing Nathan for a while now, and I didn't want to hide it from you anymore. I think it's only fair to tell you. I want to propose we open up our relationship." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. "An open relationship?" I repeated, stunned. "Seriously? You're seeing someone else behind my back, and now you're trying to dress it up as exploring life to justify your betrayal? This isn't a minor shake-up, Rachel. It's outright betrayal." Nathan tried to interject, but I cut him off sharply. "No, stay out of this. This is between me and Rachel." Turning back to her, I added coldly, "Both of you, get out of my house. I can't even look at you right now." Rachel sighed, clearly disappointed but not surprised by my reaction. "I was afraid you might react this way," she said quietly. "I've packed some things and will stay with Nathan for a few days to give you time to process this. We can talk again when you're ready." Her attempt at sounding calm only fueled my anger. As she approached me, possibly intending to kiss me goodbye, she thought better of it and walked past me toward the door with Nathan. Following them to the doorway, I spoke icily, "We're done. I'll let you know when you can come back to get the rest of your stuff. And make sure you bring someone else. Nathan is not welcome here." As they walked to Nathan's car, Rachel turned back, desperation in her voice. "Jake, please, don't make any decisions right now. I know you're upset, and I'm sorry, but I truly believe this could make us stronger in the long run." Before I could respond, the deafening roar of a car engine tore through the air. I turned my head just in time to see a red sports car speeding down the steep hill, heading straight for the notorious pothole. The car hit the pothole and spun out of control, careening straight into Nathan's SUV. The impact was brutal, right where Nathan had been standing moments earlier. Rachel's horrified scream filled the air as she stared at the wreckage. The chaos of the scene, combined with the irony of the moment, brought a bitter smile to my face. I watched silently as the aftermath unfolded, knowing that, whatever happened next, my life was already heading in a very different direction.